This is a presentation of VirtueMart 2. It is a changed one. I have later more updated topics which are very interesting for us now in the future. VirtueMart is a free online shop solution. What means free and all this stuff we talk now about. So first, it's maybe you know that, I think so. It's an open source system. It's free. It's running on Joomla. We have I call it Joomla framework actually. Yeah, very interesting for me. The whole thing, Joomla thing is a kind of a framework. It a little bit depends on the definition. What is a framework? What is a platform? What is a content management system? As you know, we have a big international community. We are here in Prague. For me, it's the first time on a JoomlaDay. I'm coming from Germany. Part of the team is coming from France, is coming from USA, coming from Portugal, coming from Indonesia. We have really a global community like Joomla. And VirtueMart is not specialized on small shops, or big shops, or only business to consumer or business to business. It varies. We try to make it maybe similar like Joomla as a kind of framework which should be able to fulfill the needs of anyone if he invests some time in it. So, just to show the internationality of the community, we have already 30 languages translated on Transifex. Joomla is also using the system for translation, so if you want to enhance the Czech language on Joomla or in VirtueMart, join the Transifex teams. They are very good. So, we are just some dates. There are around 250,000 pages using VirtueMart. Often it's so that it takes some time to understand that this is a VirtueMart store. You often cannot see it from outside. We have also a lot of extensions listed on the chat, also on our own. MPD we call it. Joomla extension directory, VirtueMart extension directory. So our priorities. I think that's very important. David just talked about the focus for Joomla and the framework. Also Radek talked about where is Joomla going. This is the focus. The focus is very important because without focus we spend our energy in a lot of projects which were not finished, things like that. So we want to show you our focus. The first focus for us is the speed. Always, if we add something new to the core, to our core, then we always have take attention if it's slowing for everyone, or if it's just slowing for the people who want to use a feature. The feature always slows down. Of course, the computer has more to do for you. Has to provide the feature, has to calculate it. So any feature takes performance. And for us it's important it takes only performance if you need it. The next thing is the flexibility. Like a Swiss knife. The first time if you have a Swiss knife you just use the knife and that's it. But if you become better with it, you use it for your fingers, for your nails, you suddenly use a scissor in it, the flask opener, whatever. So this is the flexibility with VirtueMart. If the people use VirtueMart the first time, they just see, I can sell something with it. Later they see, I can do marketing with it, I can do promotion with it, I can do my bookkeeping stuff with it, I can do my accountants with it, I can do my invoices with it. But it comes with the time. Like a universal knife. The next thing is the freedom, and we mean it in almost any sense. It's VirtueMart on the first end is free like a free beer, yes. What we also try to achieve is to make it free by mind. That also means that we avoid any artificial limits. We think that freedom also means that anyone with an average intelligence should be able to understand the code, should be able to use the code, should be able to adjust the code. It does not help if we have a super optimized mega code and only 1% of the people on Earth can use it. That's not our goal. Our goal is that most people see a layout and say, that's self-explained. I just want to have it not over there, I want to have it there. I try it, I copy from top to bottom to the file. Oh, it works, nice. That's our goal. Really free. Yeah, in the German industry, they also do not make any longer patents. They make the stuff just so complex that no one can create it. Yeah, that's the trick. And we notice often that people try to implement their own proprietary ideas into VirtueMart. It's the same problem as Joomla. And it's like you have a lock and they have the key. That's not freedom. It's a free code, you can use it, but you cannot use it without key. And the key, you have to pay for it. No, that's not our deal. We want to have that it's always really free. And so that's also the reason we are happy with our licensing. So this speed, the flexibility, and the freedom to change the core, to change the code, to alter the code, to override it. This is, I think, our main focus, because we believe that this is boosting the business. Yeah. Freedom means, of course, also that you do not need a big server, which you have to pay a lot of money per year, just to find out if your business idea works. Yeah? Freedom means, for me also, I just start with my business idea, I don't have to pay a lot, and then we see what happens. So, here some Stichwörter, some words just for what we mean with freedom and flexibility. Yeah? I also said about low resources, must be configured, extendable, modular, and editable. We have all that through Joomla. Yeah? We take their ideas, we are in the Joomla environment, so this helps us a lot to have a free, nice, flexible modular system. Our community, what is our community? It's a weed. Yeah. It's like flowers growing on a green, and we don't like the golf green, you know. That's monoculture. We like it with a lot of variety in it. Yeah. And on the first hand, it looks like it's just a green. Yeah. It's weed. You cannot do anything. One people working there, one others work there, others work there. But I got this idea when I did the French speech all together. You get the perhaps the Provence out of it. Yeah, to get the flower is just an example. So what we try to do is to combine our forces, but everyone should work for himself, mainly. Yeah. It's the idea to get different ideas under one big hut, one roof. So now comes something new, because it's a decision we did the last 2-3 weeks. We have now, we had it all the time. We have a similar system like Joomla, but on the other hand completely different. We have the even numbers. They are released to the public. That means you can install them with the Akiba Live Updater. And the odd numbers, they are for testing and developers. So what you see at the moment on our download page is VirtueMart 2.5. It will be released at VirtueMart 2.6. So same with 2.9. Yeah, we will release it at VirtueMart 3. First time publicly announced now. Yeah, that we are working on VirtueMart 3. So release cycle. Why we do it? Why we have this 2.6 now and this VirtueMart 3 thing? It is the stuff with Joomla compatibility, and we have our own extension ecosystem we have to take care of. We cannot just follow only Joomla, because then our extension developer get problems. Our extension developers wrote most extensions in time for Joomla 1.5, Joomla 2.5. If you change it completely, you would have the problem that you have only extensions running on VirtueMart 2 or only extensions running on VirtueMart 3. We try to avoid this, and it's very bad for shop owners and the business in general. So we made a version in between. The VirtueMart 2.6 or 2.5 now is re-implementing the stuff what we did for Joomla 3. Yeah? So all extension developers can write now an extension working for VirtueMart 2.6 and VirtueMart 3. So, as explained before, the VirtueMart 2 in general is running on Joomla 2. VirtueMart 3 is running on Joomla 3. Yeah. We noticed often people mix it, so we said, okay, if they mix it anyway, maybe it makes more sense to call VirtueMart version compatible to Joomla 3, also VirtueMart 3, so it's quite clear what's going on. So, what has VirtueMart 3? Yeah. We have enhanced custom fields. Usually in my speak I tell what are the custom fields. Now we have, with this concept, 2 years in the world, so I think I don't need to talk about it any longer. Especially I do that on the workshop, of course. The enhanced custom fields make it a lot easier to use them. We have these product patterns that you can use a product, you unpublish it, you derivate children from it, and the children have the same values as the parent. And we had always the problem that if the parent had a custom field, it was not visible in the child. You could easily mix it up if you have more than one level, which custom field is active. The new custom fields can be disabled, can be overridden, and makes it a lot easier. There's also almost no restriction anymore. Experienced VirtueMart developers maybe know, or web agencies know, that it was not so easy to use custom fields correctly in category browse views. This has changed. The next problem we had is you could easily destroy as template of the card. Try to move everything out of the template so that the kite is just running. You cannot break it with template. It's almost impossible, but we do our best to make it so that the templater can just work on the card without thinking all the time about, do I break the card logic? Yeah. So we moved card logic out of the templates into the card object to make it easier. This also prevents, if you update that suddenly your override is not working any longer correctly. We cleaned the code. We always write to keep the code. And then you think, why he's writing this again? Yeah, okay, it's quite easy. We had Joomla 1.5 code in it. And we released all these switches. If Joomla 1.5 do this, if Joomla 2.5 do this, we removed all these switches so the code become smaller and cleaner again. On the list, this is not written yet, but it will be written next week, is encrypted data storage. More and more people come, they want to have encrypted fields. We will add that to the JTable, and you can just add the fields you want to have encrypted into the constructor of your table, and it's done automatically for you. We have also reduced RAMs usage again. This happened because we use more pointers. It's actually a link in PHP. We splitted the language files in more than one file, and this reduced heavily the RAM. This increases, by the way, what? What is this? For what is this reduced RAM? Speed? No. RAM, less speed, less RAM makes it's not fast. No, the trick is more freedom. Why? You can take a cheaper hoster. You can browse with 11 megabyte, maybe, As we started, it was 20 megabyte. So if you think about how many shoppers I can have on my store simultan on a cheap server, this is defined mainly by the RAM. And so less RAM means for me more freedom. And effective caching. Why we wrote effective? We try to implement only caches if they clean themselves. Yeah. For me, this using the Joomla cache delete button is only if something happened wrong. Yeah? So this is not an easy task, and needs also a lot of testing. We have actually exactly the same problem as Reddit told us. VirtueMart 2.5 got downloaded around 400 times. Feedback? 0, nothing. Yeah. VirtueMart 3 got already downloaded around 2,000 times. Feedback? Almost nothing. And then I find later errors in it, I think, oh my god, why no one said it? Okay. So please join our forum. So we add effective caching. It means also that we do not take care about the Joomla setting actually. Yeah. The reason is that we say, okay, if we make it really good, no user will notice it, so it doesn't. They do not have to care about if it's active or not. Yeah, actually we do that already with the category tree. The category tree is always cached. So, and then we have also new announcement. We uploaded the first version 4 days ago. We noticed there's a strong need in a complete solution for Joomla and VirtueMart altogether. There are already some Akiba Kickstarter packages out there done by templators. These Kickstarters have the problem that you cannot adjust the language easily. You cannot choose the language before you start the Kickstarter. It's directly installing it for you in English, and then you have to change the language again, and that makes problems. We created a Joomla installer with VirtueMart inside. It's already built in. I stress, it's not a Joomla fork. It's not a Joomla distribution. Yeah. The only thing we do is we change a little bit the tables. We do not change the fields. We just add a key here and there that it runs a little bit faster. We just take care to choose the correct database engines. Yeah, MySQL is a lot faster. Joomla does not say which engine to choose. So they just choose the standard on the server. So sometimes you get MySQL, it's very fast, but in some tables unsecure. Sometimes you get InnoDB, which is very secure by data integrity, but it's slow. Yeah? And the only thing we try to do is just to offer a Joomla version with the correct VirtueMart version in it. I show also the workshop how it looks like. And with slightly speed improvements, tunings for e-commerce. Yeah? And we added some Joomla performance tweaks. There's also a problem, for example, with the session time. Anytime I go to a client website, almost any time I'm increasing the session time from 15 minutes to 1 hour, because the session time of 50 minutes is for an e-commerce shop a little bit too short. Everyone knows it. You want to buy something for Christmas, then you have the product there, and then you think, is it really the right product? Maybe I should ask first to do a call. The call takes a little bit longer. You try to buy it, and suddenly the cart is empty because you talk half an hour with your mother or whatever. So we just try to make a Joomla version which is already fitting for VirtueMart. Yeah. Again, it's not a distribution, it's not a fork or anything like that. It's just, and we also, of course, would like that the Joomla community takes our ideas, but they have often other purposes. Yeah? E-commerce is not exactly the same purpose as a content management system.